damn, everyone's going to come in right at 4 or 4:01 or 4:05. Athletes, man, they don't give a shit. Miss that life, yo. I'm in the corporate world now, so I got to give a shit
I
out.
feel you.
Melissa's here. Hey, Melissa.
Hi, Melissa.
Hi, you guys. What's going on?
Chilling, what are you saying?
I gotta grab my glasses.
Your glasses. I'd never seen you in your glasses before.
Yeah, it's old age, I think. Maybe childbirth. I don't know. One or the other.
So, yo, when you run, what's up? You gonna run in some goggles?
No, my eyesight's not that
Come
bad.
on, do some prescribed goggles. I think that's the way to go. That sounds like Damian.
Can you see me at all?
Oh, yeah. Okay, you're cool. You're good. I'm taking a list of who was on time because I want to reprimand those who were late. 4 o'clock now. So it's y'all three. So everyone else is just doing their thing. You guys train today?
Yeah.
No, I have the day off.
Oh, look at you. I got the day off.
Have you guys been training like every single day or?
I've been taking more days off, but yeah, just more of staying fit than anything, right?
When they say there's a race somewhere, we'll be ready.
Yeah. All the tracks in London are closed. You have to drive to this place called like Strathroy.
Hi, Kamika.
Oh,
Yeah. Kamika, hello.
Hi.
Yeah, just so you know, you are being marked as late.
First of all, it wasn't working on my computer, and so I logged in exactly at 3, okay? And then I was forced to have to go back to the phone. You know my phone situation.
All after the dog ate my homework. Everyone's talking about their adverse trading situations. Share yours.
We go to an open, like a public track. We don't have access to a weight room. I just use my apartment gym complex. I really shouldn't be complaining, to be honest. It's really not
You're
that bad.
sedity. My apartment gym complex, just life's so tough. You know, the other day the water coolers weren't full in my gym complex.
Yo, Kamika, are you in Louisiana or are you back home?
I'm in Louisiana.
Has there been protests or anything of that nature down there?
Yeah. I actually went to one. It was downtown Baton Rouge. It happened by accident, to be honest. I just went there to take my graduation pictures. And then there was a whole bunch of people with signs and they were walking to this place and full blown protest.
Wow.
The South, man, being in the South right now would be crazy.
Oh, yeah.
So the only person we're waiting for is, Christabel and Aaron.
Christabel's here.
So hold up, you don't want to come in and say, hey, just so you know, you're being marked down as late.
I was I can't. I've been here.
Listen, we clarified who the 3 people were that were here. I made a very clear distinction, so let's not do this. Okay?
We need to discuss this, Professor.
Really? Professor, I like that. Professor Henry. Whoa. I should be wearing Melissa's glasses right now, yo. It's just Aaron, but this is embarrassing as a sprinter.
Aaron just came in.
I'm right here.
Okay, well, we're always the last ones. Always.
I told you I'm coming home from a massage.
No, the massage, Aaron. Come on, man. Hey, all these athletes get massages. Doesn't have to be the sprinter all the time.
I literally told you I might be late.
You did. It's still late though, so you're getting the check mark as well. Okay. Safe space. We're here at CBC. We tell stories the right way. Who was that? Yo, that was crazy timing. We tell stories the right way.
Everyone good?
Wait, I need to get my charger.
Oh my gosh, man, this is crazy. I hate to say this, guys. I hate to say this, but that's another sprinter. There's an opening to speak now. It's still not easy. I asked a bunch of people to be in the panel, and for their own reasons, they didn't want to do it. They couldn't do it because of how it may alter their circumstances. And I think that it's important that everyone takes the step when they feel like it. So I don't fault them for it by any means. Brandon went to Athletics Canada. It was just like, yo, man, I want us to put a panel together to talk about some of our experiences. Mm-hmm. Anson Henry will host it. And mind you, he didn't ask me yet, but he did break it down like that. He broke it down like that because he knew, I guess he knew I was going to say yes. So, yo, Brandon, I mean, in a lot of discussions with you, it's quick to understand that you've had a broad scope of racism throughout your life.
So, I mean, I really do. I wanted to do this because I do, like you said, think a lot of people are misinformed. And a lot of the times when racism is mentioned, people tend to just jump to the worst end of the spectrum, which is obviously hate. But it varies. I mean, something as simple as making a offhanded joke can be racist, even if you don't have the worst of intentions, bad intentions. And I think that it's very important to educate folks on the effects of the different types of racism, whether it be overt racism, which you're seeing down in the South, or covert, more subliminal racism that you see more often in Canada. It varies. And it's almost like you have two flowers, both being given water, but you put one in the sunlight and then you put the other in a dark space in the room. And I guess what people are fighting today is to move both flowers in the sunlight so everyone has equal opportunity, equal advantage.
Aaron, this kind of slides into something I was talking to you about, microaggressions.
Yeah, so it kind of builds off of what Brandon said earlier, how people go to the extreme when they're picturing racism. But with microaggressions, it could be something subtle, and it's got racist undertones, but it's almost like accepted because it's not overtly offensive. And it's kind of just something that's embedded in some people's cultures. An example I gave to you when I was talking to you was someone saying to me, which I've had many times over, is, "You speak well for a Black person." And, that's like a backhanded compliment. Like they're saying you speak well, like, why are you offended? But then it's like, what do you mean for a Black person? Like, are you trying to say that most Black people don't speak well? And other things I've heard is like, all Black people steal, but not you. You're one of the good ones, or something like that. It's just like many things like that perpetuate different stereotypes that are negative, and they think just because they're not talking about you or like you're the exception, that it's not offensive and it's not racist. And I think those things permeate through our society, and people don't really categorize that as something racist because, like I said, they're not directly saying it to you, and it's not like overtly just coming out and calling you the N-word. It's like these backhanded compliments that have like these racial undertones with them that I've seen over and over and over, and just kind of keep these negative stereotypes alive. Why people need to put as much importance on that as they do with the overt racism is because it's psychological, and those things stay with you from when you're young and when you grow up. You start to subconsciously limit yourself based off what people assume of you, right? A lot of people are oblivious to it because they're not the ones they're feeling it. And so when you feel racism, they might feel like, no, it doesn't exist here. We're all good. But when you bring those things to the light, that's when people can join in and actually have some introspection and realize that they might be saying things that are full of racist undertones. And that's when they can really start to understand what you go through on a day-to-day basis.
You do speak very well, though, Aaron. I'm just saying, like, I'd say for a sprinter, you speak very well for a sprinter. How about that? A lot of us were a part of the scarce numbers of Black people, like in your elementary school or growing up. There's different challenges that come up when you're just around a lot of white people. And one of them that I brought up was like at lunchtime when I had to open my lunch, and there's some bun and cheese in there's some corned beef sandwiches, some plantain, or something. It smells different, it looks different, and people are always, "What's that?" Or what smell like that? Or did you find that growing up you had to kind of inhibit your Blackness?
Yeah, definitely. I didn't like to be like, as we spoke about, like a spectacle where people are like, "What is that?" Like, this is show and tell about, the food that I'm bringing. And I used to be embarrassed. I didn't like it when my mom used to pack my lunch, and she's like, "Well, this is the food that we have in the house. This is what we eat." But I really wanted like Lunchables, and I wanted to eat the foods that my classmates were eating, just so that I can kind of fit in. And I didn't have to be the spectacle. I just wanted to fit in, I guess. I just didn't want to be the odd one out.
Just so you guys know, Lunchables were around when I was in elementary school too. So
Don't lie.
when I first sent the message out to the group, Melissa hollered at me and was like, "Yo, like, is it cool that I'm involved in this? Because like I just want to make sure I'm not like taking away attention or in the wrong place." And I made it very clear that what she has to say is actually extremely important, because Melissa has a Black husband. She has a Black child who I was hoping we would see at some point. She's adorable.
Later.
She's
She's up for a walk.
Okay, cool. I know you may not have thought how you're going to parent, but has it crossed your mind how it may be for her?
It has crossed my mind, and we haven't really, OC and I haven't really sat down and discussed, how we will parent in the future when it comes to racism and the color of her skin and how she may be treated differently. But the thought of somebody hurting my child, I can't say out loud what I would do if somebody hurt my child. Like, that is, I don't know what I would do. I don't know what I would do. And the sad part is that I'm white, and for every Black mother out there, that is their everyday life. Every Black parent, that is their everyday life.
Damian as well had come from a mixed household. You mentioned Strathroy earlier, that you're training there again. Mm-hmm. And it stood out to me because some significant situations that happened to you when you were really young.
Yeah. So, well, like you were saying, when you introduced Melissa, I think it's extremely important because it's a similar situation that my mom was in, and there was a lot of times where people would comment or give weird looks, say things that were offensive or gross, because my mom was white and she was with two Black kids. And I couldn't imagine how hard that was to deal with. But all I know is that she made it clear to me and my sister when we were kids that it wasn't us necessarily, it was those people. So she made it clear that they were the problem and not us. So it gave us a lot of confidence going forward. But I don't think there was any other Black people that I knew of besides my sister, my uncle, and maybe my aunt. So a lot of the situations that I went into were fairly awkward. People would say things, people would do things, but I would have some friends who I'd knock on their door and they would come and answer it, and they would say like, "Oh, my mom doesn't want us hanging out with you. She doesn't think that you're a good person for us to hang out with," because I guess this image that they had of Black people, how they carry themselves, they get into trouble, do all this kind of stuff. She didn't want their kids to be around that, which is tough for me as a kid because I wasn't a bad kid. I didn't get in all sorts of trouble. I just wanted to play. I wanted to go play basketball, play tag, something like that. And it's crazy to think that just because of the color of my skin, they could have some kind of preconceived notion about what my character might be.
What do you remember about the first time you were called a name?
Well, it was an interesting story because the first time I was called it, I had no idea what it was. I think I was walking home from school and one of the kids might have said something. And to be honest, I'm not even sure if they knew what it was. But anyways, I got home and I asked my mom what it meant, and she kind of broke it down and she was explaining as best as she could of what it meant. And I remember I was getting pretty emotional and crying, and my mom made it very clear that word's not to be said. And I don't know, people can have these ideas and hate towards somebody just because of the color of their skin and not for the person that they are. My girlfriend is Jen Cotton. She's a former heptathlete and 400-meter hurdler, and she's white. And when we first started dating and we first went to like the meet the parents thing, on the drive over, I was like, "Do they know I'm Black?" And it shouldn't matter, but based off the situations that I've been in the past where I've been judged because of the color of my skin, I wanted to make sure that it was known. And she made it very clear that they knew exactly who I was and they knew that I was Black, and they treated me with nothing but respect. But yeah, it's just crazy that it's one of those, it's just a question that popped into my head and one of those things that I had to bring up.
Melissa, can you share some of the social media stuff that you deal with when it comes to like having a Black husband and a Black child?
Yeah, I mean, I think that when it first started is when OC and I started posting more pictures together after we got married, and then we announced our pregnancy, and then we started posting pictures with Corinne when she came along. And there are social media trolls that just, they take away the entire message that you're trying to get out, or the joy that you're experiencing. The bad ones, they hurt the most and they stick out the most, and they just seem to, they come to the forefront more than the good ones do. But we had a couple messages basically saying that there was no place for her in this world because we were in a mixed marriage. I shouldn't have married a Black man. Just really disgusting stuff, like threatening lives. And it's appalling to me that people can hide behind screens and do this.
I mean, there's only going to be the change with the fight, right? There's going to be some casualties, whether it's losing jobs, losing opportunities, losing status, losing friends, a tarnished reputation. Now, me personally, I know that's not something that's easy to do. And I know that it's not, that everyone has to take their journey in their own way and do their own thing. And oh my gosh, she's adorable. Look at that. That's crazy. Look at her.
She's trying to get supper ready, and all
Oh
I can
my
do is
gosh.
speaking, so we need to have a happy medium here. There.
Okay. All right.
That's Anson. Say hi.
What up, cutie?
Hi.
Hey. Oh, she's smart too? Kamika and Christabel, both of you guys are in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. There's a lot of Black people down there. It's a place where you can be appreciated for your beautiful dark skin. Canada, it may not be viewed the exact same way. Throughout your life and throughout your career, you've dealt with the question of what beauty is.
Yeah. So it's kind of really similar to what Aaron spoke about in terms of like the subtleness. And I think even just growing up, like I would hear like, oh, you're pretty for a dark skin. So like the media or, culture kind of, doesn't see dark-skinned women as like beautiful. As an athlete, we're always trying to brand and market ourselves. That's like the most important thing. So, I didn't really get to see girls or women older or even men that really looked like me and had my complexion on the faces of things. I had this opportunity where I was approached for a magazine, and this magazine was like, it's pretty common in like the running world. And I was approached just to do just an interview, just like something pretty simple, just like a blog interview. And they told me, we would love to probably have you on the cover. This was probably one of my best years on the track. I was just national champion. I'm the fastest woman in Canada. And this was like something where I'm like, okay, well, maybe I can change the narrative. So it turned out that actually they came back and they said that that I didn't fit the look for the cover. Like I really internalized those words, like I did not fit the look. I later saw like the actual campaign of the issue, and it was like fastest like in Canada. And it was a white female athlete. And obviously I think they were trying to highlight that in like a different event, like she's the fastest in this event. I just found that there was just like this trend. We were kind of neglected in terms of beauty in the color spectrum.
Let me get my notebook up for this with this. Christabel's got a lot of accomplishments. Christabel, from 2015 to 2017, was ranked in the top 5 in the world. In 2015 at Worlds, she was ranked number 1 in the world going in. 2018, she won the Commonwealth Games. Big up the Commonwealth Games, like I said before. All the Canadian records, indoors and outdoors. She's perennially on the circuit. She's known in Europe, but she has no notoriety in Canada. Let me not say none, because you got your little Nike contract. You don't say it. Would it be fair to say that it's crossed your mind? Nothing has come your way because of the color of your skin.
I never wanted to believe like that is the reason why I haven't got things, but I always just assume that when you do well, your marks speak for themselves and things come to you. And for the longest time, that was never the case for me, but I would see like my peers or people who are not even competing as well as I would, and they'd be getting not even just track, like shoe sponsorship, but just like in terms of like any type of marketing, they would be getting that and I was getting nothing my way. And it kind of did cross my mind that maybe that is the reason why. And I've had like agents reach out to companies and bring me forward. And a lot of the times they say like, oh, we're not moving in that direction. We're not working with field events. And then they picked up field eventers. And the main difference is really skin color. A lot of them are not competing on the same level as I am. A lot of them are not on the circuit or competing at the senior level. So yeah, I never want to think that it's never just about how I compete. Well, I was confused by it. I didn't really understand it. And now I'm just like, I don't have a say. So it doesn't really make a difference for me to like worry about it.
I meant to say, have any of you felt like you had any sponsorship issues that had to do with color, or perhaps money you got on your shoe contract was less than you may have gotten if you weren't Black? If you don't want to answer that, I 100% get it.
I haven't experienced it, but you know, just hear and talk, and it doesn't even, it's not even from like executives or people in high positions. And it's just like a common theme. You would hear a lot of, well, you know, you got to understand the person that got the big contract, they fit the look, you know, and that's kind of hard to take, you know, it's kind of like, but, you know, I mean, it's part of it, right? You know, and when a lot of people accept scholarships, you know, accept deals, accept, you know, et cetera, you know, it's just certain things they have to deal with.
Y'all know where the next Commonwealth Games is?
Birmingham?
It was officially said that the Commonwealth Games, they're allowing any type of protests to happen as opposed to what the IOC is doing. So I think it would be huge if the athletes supported that. I know it's not easy to just make the stand or make the kneel or make the whatever tribute you want when you're on the podium. Have the recent events caused you to even think about it or consider it?
I think it's a good opportunity to show solidarity in a time like this, because it's been a while since we've had like the world's attention, and whether you were unaware or you didn't understand or you didn't realize things were such a big deal, I think like you're recognizing it now. So in order to get the people who can make the changes to listen, I don't see how it can be a bad thing.
It's not easy for Black people to stand up for the, you know, Black rights and against injustice. Now, we see LeBron James doing it, but LeBron James is the best basketball player and arguably the best ever at it. Very arguable because Jordan's the best. But is that what it takes to be able to speak? Because if Usain Bolt, with everything that he did, it would still be tough for him to speak up. I feel like it would have had a negative effect on his career.
I think the main difference between Usain Bolt and LeBron James is, you know, you can argue with who's greater in their sport, but what you can't argue is basketball is more embedded in world culture. Track, while being the most popular amateur sport, is still an amateur sport. The people that pay attention are like track fans and aficionados and all that stuff. But the people, like the mass that are actually paying attention, it's usually every 4 years. So with LeBron James speaking out, he has that ability because like you can't replace basketball or the NBA, and you can't replace its biggest star. You can replace track and field with a bigger sport. And maybe if we all unite and, you know, get on the same page and we're all talking about it, there's no sport that you can escape to. And that's when you really start to have those tough conversations and start to penetrate with the message that you're trying to get across. Part of the reason why it's so important for athletes to speak out is because that forces people to have that uncomfortable conversation.
I don't know if you guys know who John Boyega is. British actor, the main Black character in the last Star Wars movie. And he's been going off.
Hate racists with a passion.
Some people took offense to it when in actuality it's more in defense of what's happening. I don't know how you could like racists, but whatever. He expressed what he said, and he's speaking out a lot, despite the fact that he may not get any acting gigs anymore. I saw a rally he was at, and he was screaming at the top of his lungs.
Every Black
person in here remembered when another person reminded you that you were black. I need you guys to understand. I need you to understand how painful this is. I need you to understand how painful it is to be reminded every day that your race means nothing. And that isn't the case anymore. That is never the case anymore.
Hold on a second. Black people are angry now, man. Enough is enough. People don't care no more. They need things to get right. And it's crazy.
I experience all different forms of racism all the time, and it's become a lot. I've been in situations where, you know, just like Arbery he was running in the South, and, you know, someone was chasing after him with a gun. Like, I've been in those situations where I had racists down in Mississippi chasing after us with shotguns, you know, yelling out racial slurs. Just last year, you know, I was running in an area in Miami, and, you know, I've gotten the police called on me, and then I quickly saw myself how things escalated. All of a sudden you have 10, 15 police officers showing up, guns loaded. Here I am, I have no criminal record, you know, haven't broken a law, whatever, and it still occurred. You know, for the longest time, I thought that, hey, there's something wrong with me. You know, why do I feel this way? Why are these things happening to me? For the longest time, folks tell me, hey, Brandon, you shouldn't tell these stories to people, you know, and a lot of people think that we're so far removed from what's occurring, but we're really not. Sharing is extremely important.
We made the jokes about me being older than you, but I'm just saying, compounded over a long period of time, it doesn't go away. So at like the young ages that you guys are at now, you know, speaking, getting stuff off your chest, communicating, open up dialogue, it's like the best thing you could do, because, you know, you bottle it up for long enough. When you do actually verbalize it, you end up breaking down in tears as a journalist in the middle of an athlete panel. That's getting edited out. I know that. Our respect for doing the panel. Athletics Canada, thank you for allowing the athletes to speak their voice. CBC, big up to you as well for allowing us to share this athlete experience on your platforms. And, you know, it's time to make changes, and we're taking steps. So you guys took a step today for sure. Appreciate your time.
Bye. You can now say bye.
Bye.
That's a wrap, yo.
If you're about telling the story the right way, then you have to leave in your emotional part.
Oh, leave me alone. What are you talking about? I don't even remember that. What are you even talking about?